Before we get started, I am going to bless you all with a celebratory awful singing of the first part of All the Small Things. Yes, I do not care. I am sorry if I offend you if you love to sing. I am going to put the timestamp here if you want to skip to it, if you do not want to hear my horrible singing. Otherwise, let's begin. All the small things, truth care, truth brings. I'll take one lift, your ride, let's trip. Always, I know you'll be at my show, watching, waiting, commiserating. Say it ain't so, I will not go. Turn the lights off, carry me home. Carry the Stanley Cup home, because the Colorado Avalanche are the 2022 Stanley Cup champions! Who would have faithful is not jacked right now. The journey is done. The job is finished. 16 wins. The Avs have won. What's up, guys? I know I'm late with this, and I apologize for that, but I've been busy with other things. But thankfully I'm here now. We're getting it done now. We're shooting the video now. Just want to get that out of the way. Sorry this is late. I would have gotten it up last night, but had other things to take care of. But other than that, we good. Yes, on we go. So, the Colorado Avalanche are your 2022 Stanley Cup champions. Now, I am wearing Cale Makar for this video because I haven't worn this jersey in a while, and he won the Conn Smythe as playoff MVP. We will get to that in a bit. But for the first time, at least in my lifetime, for the first time in 21 years, which is how old I am, the Avalanche are Stanley Cup champions. They lift Lord Stanley a mile high, as the famous Connor McGahey says, and they get to bring the cup home. They are officially king of the mountain, and they had to face the ultimate team to do so. Which, before we get into this, I want to give a quick shout out to the Tampa Bay Lightning. I want to give a quick thank you and congrats to them. What a hell of a team. What a great dynasty in the making. At least they can still become a dynasty. I know it's like, yeah, you got to win this amount of cups in this many years. Who cares? If you win a certain amount of cups in a certain time frame, you're a dynasty. Like, I know there's a technicality, but like the Gretzky Oilers never won 3 straight cups, and everyone calls them a dynasty. We always refer to the Red Wing dynasty as the Red Wing Empire. They never won 3 straight cups. They won a bunch of back-to-back cups, but they never won 3 straight cups. But yet we always refer to them as a dynasty. And like, what the Lightning are is what every team should strive to be. They have good offense, yes. It's not perfect, but they have good offense, but they have elite defensive play. They are the ultimate trap team, and they did some pretty good job against the Colorado Avalanche in this series. They would draw the Avs into these tight zones and then swallow them up with quick checks and forechecking and poke checking, lifting the stick. They did a fantastic job keeping the Avs on the back end. In Game 3 was obviously their best game of the series. I thought they did a pretty good job in Game 5, too. The Lightning did a really good series, and I know this didn't go 7 games, but this felt like a classic Cup final to me. This is like a powerhouse final. We haven't had a powerhouse final in a while between what are in no doubt in my mind the 2 best teams in hockey. Like, these 2 for the past 3 to 4 years have been the best teams in hockey. Watching the Avalanche build, and build, the Lightning build, and build. They had to come back from that humiliating loss against the Blue Jackets. The Avs have had to rebound from bad loss after bad loss, and they finally collide here. I honestly felt if any team was going to dethrone the Lightning, it was going to be Colorado. We're the only team that gets to dethrone the Lightning. To the Tampa Bay Lightning, you guys played an amazing series. You've got a great team on your hands. I know this might sting. Don't feel too down. I'm sure you guys will be back in the near future. You could be back next year. And if we're back next year and we get a rematch, then it's sure to be a good one. I don't think it'll be the case, though, but whatever. We can get to that when we get to that. To the Tampa Bay Lightning, you're a fantastic opponent. And in the 5 years we have made the playoffs, the Avs have made the playoffs 5 years straight, you're by far the toughest team we've ever had to play. You guys are a worthy opponent, and I'm glad we got to face you in the Cup final. Now on to the Avalanche. I'm not really going to recap Game 6, more just trying to give you an overview of what this series was. This was as 2 teams that were kind of built to beat each other. One team built to beat the Lightning was the Avalanche, and the one team built to beat the Avalanche was the Lightning. Sure, they had teams that had strengths, like the Lightning faced the Toronto, who by far gave them their toughest fight of the series until they played Colorado. The Rangers gave them a good fight, though I think the Rangers kind of played a similar style to the Lightning, and that worked in Tampa's favor because they're the ones who've kind of perfected that style of play. No one is better at that tough defensive style with some quick offense. No one is better at that than the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Avalanche are as good offensively as you can get. Obviously, we know the talents: Nathan MacKinnon, Cale Makar, Mikko Rantanen, Gabriel Landeskog. You even look at their guys like Nazem Kadri, Andrei Burakovsky, Valerian Nichushkin had a great year this year. Even getting production from guys like Logan O'Connor, Josh Manson, Eric Johnson, Bo Byrom, Devon Taves. They're as defensively and offensively built as you can get, and no team in the West was really built to stop them. St. Louis came close, gave them a fight, but the Avs were able to squeak them out. Obviously, the Oilers' weaknesses on defense were heavily exposed by Colorado. But the big question going into this series, we all knew it, was, can Darcy Kuemper get it done? I've been one of Kemper's bigger defenders. If you look at my Twitter, I have been one of Kemper's most staunch defenders. I think Kuemper had a fantastic year. I thought he was like red hot from after Christmas. He was like red hot through the rest of the season. Was really good through the regular season into the playoffs. Had some shaky starts in the playoffs. I thought in the Cup final he had some really big games. Yeah, that shutout was great. He didn't really have to do a lot for it, but a shutout's a shutout. It's not easy to do. Then I thought he came up huge in Game 4. People do not understand. If he doesn't make some of those saves, Tampa probably steals that game. Darcy Kuemper made some huge saves in Game 4, and we owe a large part of our Game 4 win to him. I thought he really did make some clutch saves in Game 6, including that one howitzer from Nikita Kucherov, which I've seen it get past him. We've seen it get past him, and this time he was like, screw it, I don't care if it blasts me through the stomach, I'll get a new one. He just sucked it in, and he made that huge save, which probably saved our bacon. Kuemper made some huge saves down the stretch and kept that. I was of the mindset 2-1 wasn't going to be enough. Kuemper in the defense, make sure it stayed that way. Which, by the way, can we talk about the finest period of hockey that the Avalanche have played this entire year, regular season, from October through now? And this is saying a lot, because the Avs have played a lot of good games. The finest period of hockey they played was that third period. 4 shots for the Lightning, a desperate Lightning team, at home, in Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Final, with their season on the line, and they are as dangerous a desperate team as any, and the Avs held them down. 4 shots. They had like 2 danger chances. You had like that 2-on-1 with Eric Johnson going back and forth, and then they made that huge save, and then obviously you had that big one from Kuemper on Kucherov. It was as well put together a game as you could ask for from this team. And I give the Avs a ton of credit. They really stepped up big in these playoffs. Kuemper in particular, I thought he did a great job. You can say what you want about him. The guy won us a cup. He was really good in Game 6. He was good when we needed him to be. Obviously, Andrei Vasilevskiy was the better goaltender. He did everything he could. I'm going to give Vazzy a lot of credit. He can't score goals. He did everything he could. But it was a tough series, and it was a great, hard-fought win for Darcy Kuemper and for this team. Kuemper, proud of you. Nathan MacKinnon also, he only had 2 goals, but they were big goals in this series. He finally, after trying for eons to get that one-timer, finally gets it past Vasilevskiy, just this much. Vazzy misses it by, and it's a tie game. Arturi Lehkonen, one of the best pickups in years at the deadline for the Avs, gets that 3-on-2 goal that ends up hitting the other side of the post. And for Tampa fans that want to complain about the officials, look, I agree with you that the officials were bad, but it was equal sides, all right? The refs really did swallow their whistles in games 5 and 6. In the third period, they didn't call a thing, unless it was like forced to call it. They let a lot of stuff slide. It was basically just like, look, we're going to let you guys decide it. And it was clear. Each team in Game 6 got their one power play, and the refs swallowed their whistles and were like, okay, that's it, no penalties. It was kind of funny, honestly. The fact that the Avalanche were able to play as well as they did against a team that good, a Lightning team that good, really does make this sweeter. Like, you didn't just beat anybody. You beat the Tampa Bay Lightning, the best team in hockey. You beat the ultimate dragon. I said on my Twitter, you want the crown, you must slay the one who already has it. You have to take it. And the Avalanche, they did it. They took it. This was a fantastic year. It was such a fun year. So many heart-stopping moments, like the playoffs are not good for my health. And thank God, if had that game gone into overtime, I might have died had they gone into overtime. They came through when it mattered. And it's incredible to see what this team has done. Let's get to some feel-good stories from this team, because I think there are a lot of good feel-good stories from this roster, just to see how far certain players have come and what this cup probably means to them. To Eric Johnson, man, and I have his jersey in the closet. Eric Johnson, actually, hold on a quick second. To Eric Johnson, yeah, I own that. You know that ugly Stadium Series jersey everyone complains about, but I like it? Yeah, I have his jersey. I have Eric Johnson, and, you know, he's been with the Avs pretty much my entire lifetime. You know, he was a first-round pick in 2006. He was the first overall pick. People forget that. First overall pick by the Blues. And he's been an Av pretty much my entire life. My entire life, I've grown up with Eric Johnson as an Avalanche player. You know, obviously he was part of that core that I honestly grew up with as a kid. Paul Stastny, Brian O'Reilly, Matt Duchene. I think some people remember that. I've known Eric Johnson my entire life. And he almost retired. I remember I didn't know if I wanted to bring him back because of all the injuries he kept suffering. I'm so glad they brought him back because he was such a factor for this team in the playoffs. He really benefited this team. And in fact, in the loss last year to Vegas, I kind of figured out quickly just how much Eric Johnson meant to this team and how well he played. And the factor he was in the playoffs for Colorado, it floors me. And if he does choose to hang it up, and he chose I don't know if you've seen the video, but he did a solo skate after everyone left. He did a solo skate. He was so emotional. He was crying when he got the cup. That got to me. Eric Johnson, EJ, Condor. If this is your last game with the Avalanche, I am so glad you came back for one more year. And if not, then hey, come back on a cheap deal, dude. Get another one. But if not, you ended it with a cup. Good way to go out. EJ, you're amazing. Love you, buddy. Gabe Landeskog, man, he's been a captain of this team for 11 years. He was captain as 18-year-old. He was named captain literally his second year in the league. He was the second overall pick. He was the youngest captain in NHL history, alongside Sidney Crosby. And just to see him finally, he sat through a lot of hard years. He did. He sat through a lot of hard years. He was part of the team that ended up finishing last in the NHL, that ended up getting the Nathan McKinnon sweepstakes. We won the lottery, got McKinnon out of it. He was in the 16-17 Avalanche team. He was a part of a lot of hard seasons, and he really has earned this. Him wearing the C on his jersey, he is a captain stalwart of this team. He'll go down as one of the greatest Avs to ever play, and Landeskog deserved to lift that cup over his head. Landy, salute to you, man. And I just brought him up, but I'm going to bring him up again. Darcy Kemper. He received a lot of criticism, and at times it was warranted. I get it. He had some shaky plays, shaky starts. But Darcy Kemper emerged in these when we needed him to. He was huge. That guy was bounced from team to team. This is his fourth team, and he was on the Arizona Coyotes last year. That dude went from a basement dweller. Now he's a Stanley Cup champion. And hey, Coyotes get a win out of it because as part of the stipulation in the Darcy Kemper trade, since we won the Cup, the Coyotes get our 2024 third-round pick. So enjoy whoever that 16-year-old might, 17-year-old might be, Coyotes. Enjoy whoever they might be. But back to Kemper, he did a good job. He played when he needed to. Watching him jump up and down when the horn sounded was amazing, and I wish him all the success in the world. If he stays, if he goes, no matter what, you want a cup, Darcy. You want us a cup. Thank you. Jack Johnson, man, he made the team on a tryout deal, and if you haven't seen, I recommend watching the Odd Man Rush video on his whole situation with his parents. How his parents basically extorted him for money. They stole all his cash, blackmailed him. They pretty much tried to ruin his life as he was trying to play hockey. His own parents tried to ruin his life while he was trying to play hockey. He spent a long time trying to, deal with that, and then people were making fun of him. He had a production downfall on his ice time. He had a really bad time in Pittsburgh. And, he fit in just fine here in Colorado. He scored the first goal of the season. Jack Johnson scored the first goal of the year. And he played pretty well, in my opinion, for the Avalanche. He made the team on a tryout deal. He did what he needed to do. He didn't turn it over. He was smart in his own zone. He brought a grit, physical presence. Johnson did what he needed to do, and I salute him for it. Jack Johnson, man, hey, I think you should choose to hang it up. I think you've got what you need, dude. Because no matter what people say about you, you got a cup. You got a ring. You get your name on the cup. Not a lot of people can say that. Byrom, man. Byrom is another one I want to talk about. He had such a hard year. He went through concussions. He had vertigo issues. He had a lot of personal problems throughout the year. He was debating if he would have to even retire due to all the injuries. He came back. He stuck it out. And when we lost Sam Girard, Byrom stepped up. The sky is the limit. He didn't score any goals, but man, it's there. The offensive talent is there. We know he can bring it. Defensively, he was such a stalwart, so smart, good on the penalty kill. Byrom is a rising star in this league, and I am so glad he's on this roster. I cannot wait to see what he's going to grow into. Him and Cale Makar, and Sam Girard in there, Devon Taves. It's just like it's unfair, and I cannot wait to see what Byrom goes into. Through all that stuff to win a Stanley Cup. Just congrats, Byrom, first of many. Nathan MacKinnon, he was a man on a mission this year. Seeing his press conference last year after the Vegas one, it hurt because he took that harder than anybody. Talking about how going into his 9th year in the league, he can't win a thing. And he was frustrated. He was angry. He has a cup now, and he was a huge reason why. He could have won the Conn Smythe, in my opinion. He was dead set on it the entire year. He was ready to go get it done. He finally gets his name on a cup, and it won't be the last time. I promise. That will not be the last time he raises a cup in his career and with the Colorado Avalanche. We're so lucky to have Nathan MacKinnon as our franchise face. Perfect heir to Joe Sakic. And let's get to those two, by the way. Jared Bednar. I have defended that man to my dying breath. I think he's one of the best coaches in the NHL. He was literally thrown into a lame duck situation, forced to take helm of a team that had just gone through a rough coaching situation with Patrick Waugh. He had no time to implement his own system, couldn't even bring in his own assistants. He had to use Waugh's. They went through that 48-point year. People looked like he was going to get fired after that. 5 years later, he's a Stanley Cup champion. I think he's probably the best coach in hockey, if not, obviously, John Cooper. But, man, just to see what he's done as a coach and to see what Bednar has been able to engineer and what he gets out of this team. He's gotten the most out of this group. This group would not be the same without Jared Bednar, and he's a marvelous coach. I hope he's here for years to come. He just signed an extension this past year, and I knew that was a good deal. So, Jared Bednar, thank you for everything. You are a fantastic head coach, and I hope you win more cups with us. Good job, Kendall. Joe Sakic, man. What a legend. What a legend. Won 2 cups as a player, and now he's won it as a GM. This entire team, except for Landeskog and Johnson, Eric Johnson, were brought here by Sakic. Traded for Kemper, signed Francois out of the KHL, drafted McKinnon. He was his first draft pick, Nathan MacKinnon. Drafted Mikko Rantanen, traded for Burakovsky, traded for Kadri, signed Valeri Nichushkin, drafted Cale Makar, drafted Byrom, traded for Devon Taves, one of the best steals he's ever made. He traded for Girard in that Duchesne deal. He drafted Logan O'Connor, signing Darren Helm, trading for Cogliano, trading for Lehkonen, trading for Manson, getting guys like McDermott and Newhook who played throughout the year, trading. Just this entire team is practically built by Sakic. It's like a crowning achievement for him. What a cap on a resume for Joe Sakic. Mr. Sakic, all I'm going to say is this. Build the damn statue. Build it. Where do you want it? How big do you want it, Joe? Let's build that statue. Also, I want to give a nice shout out to Nazem Kadri. That guy's been through a lot, and he has been called the playoff liability for years. All the suspensions he's gone through, all the hard stuff he's had to take, like with the stuff with the Leafs, and to see him grow and become what he is now. Just, Naz, thank you for everything. I hope he can come back. I think that might have been his last game in an Avalanche uniform, but it was worth it. He was such a performer in these playoffs. He was so good. He scored the OT winner in Game 4 of the Cup Final. He had the hat trick against the Blues. Nazem Kadri was everything that we needed him to be. He did everything for the Avalanche and so much more. Nazem Kadri, if this is your last time putting on an Avs uniform, thank you. You deserve that cup. You deserve your name on it. You deserve a ring. You were fantastic for the Avalanche, and just know you have a home here in Colorado. Love you, Naz. Thank you for everything, and just good luck whatever's next in your career, buddy. Anyways, that is all I have. Man, I've been looking forward to this. I knew it since last July. I've believed since Vegas. We all have believed since Vegas. Avs fam, we are blessed. I will be going to that parade. Might capture some footage and put it here on the channel. This was a special year. This was a special team. We are blessed, and I hope you guys just enjoy this. I know next year's going to come, and we can talk about title defense. We'll have the draft off free agency, and we'll talk about that. But for now, enjoy it. Enjoy it. You got a cup. No matter what happens next, we have something that can never be taken away from us. Your Colorado Avalanche are the 2022 Stanley Cup champions.